What is up, everybody? Welcome to Sixers Postgame Live. Frustrating game for the Philadelphia 76ers, moving to 39-34 with the L, 108-107 to the Clippers. Lots to talk about in this one. I am pissed off. We saw a little bit of everything, good and bad, from start to finish. Joining me, he is Sean Bernard. What's up, Sean?
Yeah, that was a tough one. That overall an awesome game, almost wire to wire leading, but you got to finish down the stretch. And this turned this into what should have been a good vibes, hyped up post game into one of the more frustrating, probably the most frustrating loss of the season. So definitely sitting a little low after that one, and the game was well within reach, and Sixers were not able to capitalize.
Yep. Also joining us, he is the Gobbler, Pat Bernard. What's up, man?
What's going down, everyone? Listen, down to the wire. Again, this Sixers team looked at the very beginning like they're going to just wallop this team. I thought they were going to take 2 W's away from this Clippers team. Unfortunately, they let them hang around. And in the result of that, when you let a team like this hang around, bad things are going to happen, just like that bad play at the end of the game there. And of course, Kawhi Leonard in clutch time beats the Sixers, unfortunately. So yeah, I'm disappointed. Like where you guys are at right
now. Yeah, guys, if you're watching us live, please be sure to comment your thoughts on the game. Marshawn Lynch is in the house. Womp womp womp. Harden getting revenge. Maxey deferring in the clutch. Why are you giving? Listen, I love Kelly Oubre. We saw the best and the worst of a lot of players tonight, including Kelly Oubre. And why are you giving the ball to him back-to-back possessions? A guy who has a negative 500 basketball IQ. I don't get it. I don't get it.
Had some harsh words for the referees after game, both Nurse and Kelly Oubre, which I absolutely love. Directing it each individual ref.
we're gonna watch that play where the play when Nick Nurse absolutely lost and went bonkers when Kawhi blocked him at the rim on Kelly Oubre's drive. We're going to watch that. Mr. Rudy Boo says, how can I look at him being our guy? He deferred, fellas. And I actually thought Maxey was excellent in the second half.
Yeah.
Truly until the final minutes here. There's levels to Sixers frustration. This is Sixers basketball, man. And I think Pat nailed it because the Sixers kind of let this Clippers team hang. They let them hang for way too long, and it just bit them in the ass in the fourth quarter. Maxey needs to grow a pair and go get the damn ball. He just hung in the backcourt. And Maxey literally didn't try to get open. He needs to grow up. Sean, what's your reaction? Well, I'm going to get the final play here on the Kelly Oubre drive.
So as far as kind of the late game execution and Maxey not being involved, I do think this would have been a great moment to have a little bit one of those put some hair on your chest, grow up, and be the guy for Maxey. I do think like the first Nurse seemed to use him as a decoy. That we've seen a lot of times this season where they've run the play where Maxey starts all the way at the other free throw line and makes a sprint in for a little handoff and attacks the paint. They've done that multiple times this year. That's what I thought they were setting up for when they came out of the break. And then obviously Kelly Oubre turned and attacked the rim. I don't fully hate the clear out and having him attack there. Not really going to recommend it when Kawhi Leonard is your primary defender there. I think that was a bit of a bold choice. It's a different story if these matchups are swapped and you got Kawhi on Maxey and Amir Coffey guarding Kelly Oubre. It was the exact inverse here, which I don't quite understand. So I don't know if Nurse was kind of anticipating getting Kawhi out of the picture, allowing Maxey as a decoy. But the bottom line is I would rather live and die with Maxey right now. Is if he fails, I'd rather watch him do it and get that kind of experience. So I do think that was a miss on Nurse's side.
I agree too. Like Maxey's mental growth lately has been the story. And it's kind of been, when you look at the big picture here, especially when Joel Embiid returns, his growth with him needing to dominate on his own, dominate defenses on his own against without Joel Embiid is so massive for his growth. So here's the play. Here's the play that will be talked about for a while. We have Kelly Oubre driving. And then do you see ball there or do you see hand?
I think The hand checking's what I think should have been a foul. There was a lot of physicality in like the lead up to things that I think honestly is a foul. That was to me way more of a foul than the call that Maxey actually got that went to review the play before. I get it. Like it's almost like soccer, how, like there can be a foul in midfield that's not a foul in the PK box. That's kind of the same way in the NBA, that to make a game deciding call when in all other situations of the game, that's likely a foul. It's not fair. I don't like how that's the case. I think the Sixers are right to be upset, but it's also you can't live and die on the referee's whistle as they kind of end up going down the stretch here. But the bottom line is I do think that was foul.
I do too. All right, let's go to some comments. Quentin says, who cost us this game?
People are going to say Kelly.
Yeah, I mean,
the ref's going to be the easy route.
Tobias looked so lost at times in this game where I was just screaming at the TV. It was classic Tobias Harris.
That inbounds pass in the second quarter, among the stupidest turnovers I've ever seen. He might also just passed it to the Clippers. He needs to be banned from inbounds passes for the remainder of the season. He can't be the best option. I know Batum's typically the guy, and Batum, by the way, was out there on the floor for this play. But Tobias has to be the bottom man on the totem pole. Let Mo Bamba make the decision from out of bounds. At least he's big, like anyone else.
Yeah. Barry says Oubre was fouled right before he released the ball. I think even Tobias Harris was wide open on that final possession, and Oubre was like, "Nope."
I don't hate that.
I don't either. There's a lot of things I hate about this game. That's not it. Rudy Bruce says, "Yeah, we already covered that." Kawhi, owner of the Sixers franchise.
That's a little deep. That's a little harsh.
Yeah, I mean that. Yeah. I'm not going to talk about Kawhi. These uniforms suck, and we've lost damn near every game with these uniforms. That small ball lineup was good for 3 minutes, but the whole last 6 minutes of the game, we needed Paul Reed out there. Maxey letting Amir Coffey just in front of him one-on-one is ridiculous. I don't like how he didn't want it, fellas. Maxey is the guy. He's the blame. Wow. I guess let's start with Maxey. Maxey finished the game. Let me pull up the stats here. All right. Hold on. What did Maxey have? Maxey had, Jesus. He had finished 9 of 20 from the field, 26 points, 3 of 8 from 3, 7 boards, 8 assists, 2 blocks, 1 steal. Pat, what was your thoughts on Maxey? I thought he was cooking in the second half outside the final 5-6 minutes.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I thought he was cooking more than that. Again, he was carving that Clippers defense early on. He was carving them up. They had no idea of how to stop them. They were trying their 2-3 zone defenses, and he was carving them up. And when he couldn't carve them up, he was just hitting his pullback jumpers from the perimeter, from all over the place. And then they start playing some solid defense, clogging the lane where he couldn't make his shot. And like you said, sometimes when he doesn't have his shot selections, things kind of get a little haywire. And then it's okay, he starts to play the assist game. But I just like I said, I just thought tonight again, this was on him. He carried the game in the first half of the last game, against the Kings, and he played very well tonight. And like you gentlemen were saying earlier, this is all on him. This is all on him right now. Of course, he's going to get the blame game because he's the star of the team. But there's other aspects of the team. There was a bad officiating. There was some boneheaded plays by this team. Nick Batum really didn't get busy. I mean, he had a nice couple 3-pointers, and that was about it. But I mean, he really didn't do much. So again, this is all going to fall on him. And everyone kind of expect Tobias Harris being Tobias Harris at this point. So they're going to give him that pass, and unfortunately, and they're just going to, he's going to be it's all going to fall. He carries the world on his shoulders right now for the Sixers.
What about you, Sean?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of expectation on him. That it's almost to this point, I always feel bad being overly critical of Maxey because we're at the point where he's already exceeded expectations by such a high margin that if you told me this version of Tyrese Maxey, who for several stretches of this game looked like the best player on the floor, is who he is, I'm pretty satisfied with that. It is disappointing that we're not seeing the step up, be the alpha male number one, but he's still a 23-year-old kid growing into himself. That's not what he's ready to be yet. this is more of kind of a couple years down the line where these all are the real deal expectations for him. But the situation is what the situation is. And obviously they're looking at him to step up. He was passive down the stretch, played a ton of minutes tonight too. I think that he honestly got a little shaken up on that play where he tripped in the backcourt going for. He looked a little off after that. I felt still not really sure what happened on that play, other than the turf monster getting to him and it creating a free, easy, almost dunk for the Clippers there. I think things took a turn on that specific play, but yeah, it is disappointing he didn't come up big time during the stretch. But overall, I thought it was a really good Maxey game.
Yeah, Maxey was 3 of 5 in the fourth quarter from the field. He was scoring the rock, but he didn't have a single field goal attempt. 4.5 minutes remaining in the fourth quarter. So I think a lot of people remember that the most of this one, as my voice is going to go away. This game was interesting too, because like we had Nico Batum sighting, who was all over the place in the fourth quarter.
Buddy Hield.
That's where I was about to go next. We had some finally Buddy Hield getting out of the slump. 10 points in the third quarter. I think he had 8 points in the final minute of that third quarter. He made some big buckets in the fourth. Sean, who do you want to talk about first?
Let's jump to Buddy, because I think this was an important game for Buddy that he very clearly had been struggling these past couple games, a little bit in his own head. We know the reputation of this guy as a shooter, and he's really been struggling to get those looks off. So I think when he hit those back-to-back threes, that was important for him, and that started to open things up. Whenever his three-pointers falling, that's what opens up his entire game. That's when we're able to see him attacking off the dribble, him getting to the rim. It's always the threat of that three-point shot that creates everything in his game. And that's kind of been missing these past couple games because he hasn't looked confident in it. He hasn't been getting up enough volume. Shot 3 for 7 from beyond the arc today. I still would be fine with him taking more three-point attempts than that in an average every game basis. Let it fly, buddy. But I do think this was an important step for him. That last three-pointer was absolutely massive. Sixers have zero chance in this game. If he doesn't hit that, that's the biggest shot of his Sixers career thus far. So I think this was a valuable game for Buddy Hield, one that he can build on moving forward. And again, I all expectations for Buddy Hield will change completely when Joel Embiid's on the floor. That's really the reason that he's here and when he will be so dynamic in this offense. But it was good to see a couple go in tonight, and I do think this is a performance that he personally can build off.
Yeah, this is the Buddy Hield we want. The Buddy Hield that can take over a game, microwave scorer, whether it's starting or off the bench. It was good to see him get out of the slump. Pat, any thoughts on Buddy Hield before we move on?
No, again, a little bit of a bounce back, right? Again, he was made a couple, like Sean said, made a couple nice threes. That last one was really, really significant for him. Again, just creating space and making his shots and making them well. Again, 17 points off the bench. Where a game where Nick Nurse really kind of only use a really limited rotation of guys off the bench. You didn't see no KJ Martin in this game, no Ricky Cancel. So he kind of like let it lock down on a few guys coming off the bench. And he was one of the major stepping stones off the bench for this team. And, like I said, hopefully this could kind of carry over for Cleveland.
Nico Batum, before we get to some comments, Batum had some nice moments in this one. In the fourth quarter, he had a couple of three-pointers. He had 2 assists. He had a block on James Harden that was pretty nice at the rim. Good to kind of see him get going a little bit. Any thoughts on him, Sean?
Revenge game, baby. That Nico Batum felt it as well. All the James Harden buzz, the booze, all that was being brought in. This was a return for Nico Batum as well. So he got his tribute on Sunday, and I thought he brought it tonight. That block by James Harden was incredibly impressive. That's something that obviously we know the shortcomings of James Harden's verticality, so this isn't something that's new to us here. But that ability to have that chase down block, come from behind and make a play is the real deal. That one three-pointer he hit was absolutely massive in that fourth quarter. I thought he was really good tonight, that he's just a smart, high IQ basketball player. He just makes a lot of right decisions out there. Another guy that's going to look significantly better with Joel, but I thought he provided some really massive minutes tonight. So I was happy with Batum. I think his best game in the past couple for sure.
Yeah, there's been a lot of criticism towards Batum, and I don't stand for it. I mean, his role is very clear, is to bring high basketball IQ, that inside-out game with Joel Embiid, and without him, he doesn't fit on this roster with the pieces they have. Pat, any thoughts on that? Any other thoughts before we go to some comments, because they are rolling in?
No, I mean, like I said, I wish he would have got some more 3-pointers. Again, he's deadly from the corner. He's very, very deadly. Again, it's almost a guarantee the ball's going to go in. Just like I said, I just wish he was a little bit more effective on the scoreboard right here. I mean, again, 9 points, and they're all from his 3-point shot. They made a couple nice little cuts in the in the paint as far as the assist part. But I mean, again, like I said, I just want to see a little bit more scoring, on the scoreboard from him.
That pass he had to Kelly Oubre cutting to the basket in the paint.
Yes.
Yeah. Chef's kiss, baby.
He's a really good passer. Like, it's in half court settings, especially. Like, he's not going to be a point guard per se, but those connective passes, those secondary dishes within an offense, he's excellent at that. Like, probably the best that we've ever seen surrounding Joel with.
Yeah, man. There is a lot of comments about the refs. Irish Sixers, love it. Did we peep how Kelly did not trust an open Tobias and didn't pass it? I did touch on that. But like Sean said, we're not gonna critique him on that. Sixers fan says refs cost us this game. Barry says until the last 3 minutes, Kawhi did nothing. Paul George was the one that kept the clip. This was like also a guy that I was like, probably about 2 quarters in, I'm like, are we sure we want to be like maxing this guy? Is he going to be the next Tobias Harris level contract? And then he just goes off in the second half.
Yeah,
he was. He was deadly from the perimeter.
Paul George, like, he's got his ups and downs for sure, but like at least he's a proven. Like, I would not.
Better than Tobias, no question.
No question. Even 40-year-old version of Paul George, I think, will be better than this current version of Tobias. So nice little audition by PG-13 tonight.
Barry says, how can anybody fault Tyrese Maxey? Listen, as great as Maxey is, we have critiqued him very much over the last year and a half. He does get tunnel vision, but this is kind of the growing pains. This is the growing pains that we need to see from Maxey.
7 assists tonight.
Yeah, I didn't think Maxey. I get why people are upset about him not getting the basketball in his hands the last 4.5 minutes. But I thought he was excellent tonight overall. A part of me hates that Mo Bamba is playing well now that Nurse will play him. They're finding him around the basket, which I like a lot more. He's getting good looks. He seems to be rebounding the ball better, at least the last 2 games. A little more rim protection. There are still like the mind-numbing moments where he doesn't know how to set a screen. There are still things like that, but Mo Bamba has been roughly playable over the last 48 hours, which is something. He had 12 points, 11 boards, 2 blocks in 19 minutes. Is this the turnaround for Mo Bamba, Sean?
I honestly think this is the best game that Mo Bamba's played up there, and is probably top 5 in a Sixers uniform. And I think that's especially impressive considering a lot of what we talked about on here has been when Mo Bamba's jump shots are going in, he's an effective player. When they're not, he's not. And the shots really weren't falling tonight, and he still was very effective. That he had a double-double, his first one in a Sixers uniform. The rebounding, I think, has been far better. I've never been able to put my finger on whether it's a coordination thing physically or it's a mental, like, locked-inness thing that he doesn't have. But I didn't see that tonight. I thought he was there. He was present. He was active far more than he has been. So shout out Mo. And to this comment here, there is a part of me that I think the backup center competition is more open in Nick Nurse's mind than it should be. He definitely doesn't seem to be a Paul Reed guy. And I thought pulling him tonight and going small ball was more evidence of that for sure. So I'm a little concerned about that come playoff time.
Yeah. Irish Sixers saying Paul Reed is not. Paul Reed. Maxey is not to blame. Rudy Poo says Maxey just needs to learn how to play in the clutch as the number 1 option, and he will. He's 23 years old. Like Sean said, this is okay. Yeah. Rick says NBA officiating is a joke.
Yes.
It was bad, man.
Let the anger on the officials come out.
Yeah, a referee comment we haven't touched on. I don't know how they overturned that Oubre, the one that they called
so
out
bad.
on. Like, I watch it a ton. Yeah, I don't see anywhere where Oubre touched that. Look straight up like Paul George just poked it out. And for that to be clear and conclusive blows my mind.
Allah was going nuts on the ref, man. He was in his bag.
He was. I mean, and the one that got me was the James Harden 3-pointer where it looked like Maxey just walked by him and he fell on his own, and they called it a foul. I'm like, and I like you said, I thought I was going to throw his headset. I mean, it was just that bad. I mean, I thought the MLS had some bad officials. Like, I feel like they grabbed these officials from that big Walmart ban for those rental DVDs, those B-rated movies, and grab these guys that officiate this game. I mean, they need a book for one-on-one for dummies out there. I don't know. This is bad. This is bad.
Yeah, it was bad. Barry says Maxey playing 44 minutes. Maxey's been playing a ton, man.
Yeah.
Been playing a lot of minutes. Steven says Harris passing up 3 wide open threes could have been the most disgusting thing the entire night. His defense was bad. This was a classic Tobias Harris game where he actually in the first quarter looked efficient. He looked somewhat locked in, and then you get the Tobias Harris that the lack of effort, the everything that makes you very frustrated about Tobias. Maxey's a guy, he holds the blame. He tripped over his own feet. Jamie says, it's sad that we got robbed. Guys, if you're watching us live, please be sure to like this video wherever you're watching. Tobias actually played a very efficient game. He disappeared in the fourth. I will not be picking him for my player of the game. I'll tell you that. Well, let's talk about Tobias. He had 14 points. First of all, 9 of those came in the first quarter. So there's that. So he had 5 points between the second and fourth quarters. And for the most part, like, he looked lost. I just think he looked lost. Mr. Rudy Poo says, I'll tell you what, Pat Bev would have gotten into Maxey for deferring. Come on.
We're still talking Pat Bev here? What's going on, Mr. Rudy Poo?
Batum's first game without Embiid where he actually did something. It's been a minute. Been a minute. Campaign, after looking really good. How many minutes did he play in this one?
4
minutes. Yeah.
That's interesting. I didn't even realize that until now.
And Lowry didn't play a ton either. So Campaign, I think, has earned it. And the thing that Cam has especially impressed me on of late is he's really effective at just being that spark plug offensive burst. That's his role on this team, is when all of a sudden the offense is struggling a little bit. And there were moments throughout tonight that occurred. Throw him in there for a quick 5. Just let him get up a couple threes, try and create. He did get stuffed by Paul George pretty hard early on in that game. I don't know if that played into the decision-making here, but I would have liked to see a little Campaign spark for sure.
I thought Kyle Lowry struggled for segments of this game as well.
Yeah.
Lowry played 22 minutes. He was a +3, 7 points, a steal, an assist. I don't know why. He just looks like he didn't have it going. What did Ricky Council do? Nick Nurse won't play him anymore. I mean, it's time to move on with that too. I don't know what that is, but it's the Tobias Harris problem. Todd says the referee stayed on the court with a dumb look. Did you see how pissed off Nick Nurse was after the game?
And Oubre.
Oubre getting the final 2 looks. This is classic Sixers game without Embiid, where they're in it until the fourth quarter, and then they have nobody to shot create.
We probably can't pull it up on here, but the lip reading of Kelly Oubre from their discussion with the refs after the game, I recommend everybody check out.
Oh, I'm definitely going to say that. We're going to check that out. Professional Drunk says, I kept telling myself that Tobias would make a buzzer beater over Harden in my dreams. But I never have happy dreams.
Yeah, lofty dreams there.
More like nightmares there, pal.
All right. Any other thoughts, Sean, before we roll on to player of the game?
Nothing too firm. This is one that sucks. Like in general, this is another one of those situations where if you told me they were going 1-1 against the Clippers over the span of a week, I feel pretty good about that. But the fact that this one was in their hands and they weren't able to capitalize, that's what sucks. So it's disappointing the execution wasn't there. They led almost wire to wire in this game and still didn't come up with a win. So super frustrating. This was a bizarre basketball game. There was a lot of weird stuff that happened, but yeah, this is one that I would have much rather been put in the win column.
Yeah, I can complain about the refs all day, but like, when are the Sixers ever going to freaking learn how to close out a first half?
Right.
Like, they had a 14-point lead and saw it just vanish within a minute, and that needs to stop. That they need to learn how to finish quarters. And like, that's why there was a point where like Kawhi had 3 points, and the Sixers were only up by like 2 or 3. Like that.
You want to know
what, Pat? Yeah.
No, you want to, because in that first half, there's only one guy that comes to play basketball for the 76ers. Only one guy. And that's all you rely on. And then after that, there is zilch. Zilch you have. Zilch for playmaking. Zilch for a finish. You have nothing. You only have one guy carrying 12 other guys on his back. It's that bad.
Yeah.
And to Pat's point there, when we talk about ball handlers, like Lowry and Payne combined for 26 minutes. Like that is why Maxey's logging such significant. And like he has to. That's obviously the better option, that Tyrese Maxey can do that and is capable for the entire period. But that's a lot to put on a guy. Like only 26 minutes is combined between those two is pretty shocking to me. And that's why obviously we saw a bump in Buddy Hield tonight as a part of that. But that is interesting there. I'm surprised by that split.
Me too. All right. Let's roll on to Sixers player of the game. All right, player of the game. Pat, lead us off, man. Who you going with?
Believe it or not, I will give it his due. He needs some kind of flowers. Someone's got to do it. I will be the sacrificial lamb here. I'm going to go Mo Bamba. I'm going to go Mo Bamba for stepping up his game. Double. He's played a lot better. Again, just beating in the paint, getting offensive boards, getting some nice dunks, ready to connect with Oubre or Mattoon. Just being really that guy. Again, just getting more minutes as this, coming down the stretch in the season, and he's kind of looked better. So again, he's become the guy to start over Nick Paul Reed. So yeah, give me B, give me what's it called, Mo Bamba. Yeah, so I'll be the sacrificial lamb. I say Mo Bamba. Look what popped up. Oh no, he'll be at my front door with a pitchfork.
Listen, he deserves it. He's been playing well the last 2 games, no doubt about it. I'm trying to look at how many times he's actually been a net positive on the court this season, because he was actually a +2 tonight. Sean, who are you going
I'm giving mine to Buddy Hield tonight. That I have kept my flag firmly planted on Buddy Hield Island, and it's gotten awful lonely over there of late. I keep just waiting for the swing back, and I feel like tonight was finally a step in that right direction. That he's been really rough lately. When the shot's not falling, that's really limiting what he can do on the floor. And finally, we saw him break through that, knock down a couple threes, and really impact this game at a really high level. That 3-pointer at the end specifically to put them, I believe it was up 1 or up 3 at the time. That's a big time shot that is necessary, and he's going to have to take those and make those. And he did that tonight. So this is a matchup that I was happy with how Buddy performed tonight. And I think this moving forward is a massive boost for his confidence, that he needed to see the ball go in as much as the Sixers needed that production.
Yeah, I would have went with Buddy Hield too. That would have been my pick. Nick says Paul Reed owns Mo Bamba. Yeah, I'm gonna go Nico Batum. This is all about the role players tonight, trying to find their way before Joel Embiid returns to the court. Nico Batum, 3 assists, 4 boards, 3 of 6 from 3. He had a block, 9 points. Kind of being that guy that we're hoping to make big shots, like the Sixers version of Big Shot Bob in 2024. Maybe he can be that guy. So give me Nico Batum. Good to see him, like Buddy Hield, kind of get back to what he's excellent at, finding Kelly Oubre cutting to the basket, hitting those corner threes. That's what we want. So Nick says, Pat is
Thanks, buddy. Thanks, Nick. Appreciate it.
Any other shout outs? Did we miss anybody?
Kelly Oubre is completely okay in my mind after his attack on the referees. After he's all good in my book just from that passion. So I do like Nurse and Kelly kind of giving it to the refs a little bit. They deserve it after that one. Obviously, they still got to look internally, check in the mirror, and correct their own stuff that went down the stretch there. But I like the passion, I like the fire, and I like that they're showing that they care. To me, at this stage in the season, that's important. So let's not be flat. Let's show the fire and let's bring it on the court a little bit more than they have.
I was thinking Oubre, but like 17 points on 17 shots.
11 rebounds. 11 rebounds.
Okay. Yeah, but he also had like a turnover and a bad foul late in the fourth quarter. I just can't.
The foul stuff sucks too, because the play where Maxey tripped and it was like the turf monster, Oubre fouled Amir Coffey and then he went 1 for 2 at the line. And it's like that's a clean save a point moment. And then I like had that saved in the drafts, ready to highlight it if this ended up like a 1-point win or something. And then immediately after, it was the Kawhi attack where Oubre didn't foul him hard enough, a stupid foul and an and one. And it's like, well, there goes all the positive that I just was ready to highlight.
All right.
I'll give Nick Nurse a due. I'll give Nick Nurse. You know, I got to give him credit. Way to stick up for your team at the end there. Way to get fired up with the referees, the officials. Pretty much got one official's face. And then I got to give him the credit for, again, just tightening down on this lineup. Again, there was no KJ Martin. There was no Ricky Cancel. I mean, he went with what was best available to him and just kept it that way. So I got to give it to Nick Nurse for that.
There was a time when the Sixers, like a minute left, and the Sixers were up, and like Tobias Harris had no idea what to do with the basketball, and Nick Nurse called a timeout, and it was a great timeout. It was a phenomenal timeout. A play where Doc probably would have let it roll, and it was just disaster class would have pursued. All right, let's roll on to our team grades.
Sweetness and light for my restless smile. Please give me a way to escape this world gone astray. You could give me a little peace of mind in these troubled times.
I'll never remove those Jaden Springer and Korkmaz highlights.
I was thinking that.
Never.
Yes.
Not going to happen. Sean, how do you grade today's performance?
I'm going C+ on the day. That overall, I think they played pretty well today. I thought they played really well throughout basically the entirety of the matchup until that very end. So the collapse is what's going to stick with us. It's why it's not higher. And honestly, you can make the argument that it should be lower, but I still have like a little bit of an asterisk next to it in my mind because of they're obviously doing this without Joel Embiid. This is a game that I didn't expect them to win going in, and they were down into it at the end. So I give them a little more leanway than maybe I should, but I'll lock it in as a C+.
C+ for Sean. What about you, Pat?
I'm going to go C. I just think they played okay. Again, on fire in that first half. The way Maxey was just holding this thing up, just covering up that team in the paint, kind of had a great ball moment. They were doing everything you asked. Again, trying to really keep that Clippers team on their heels. And then all of a sudden things got really ugly where they just let this team hang around. We could blame the officiating all we want, but at the end of the day, we let a team like the Clippers hang around, and unfortunately came back to bite us. So I will say C for me.
C for Pat. Nick says, I like the Sweetness song. I think it's called Restless Mind. Go check it out. I can't go B. There's no way.
Join the canoe, my friend. Join the canoe.
I'll go C with you, Pat. This was a frustrating game for the fact that they let the Clippers hang, and you can't let this team hang, that kind of team hang. I feel like we're so upset about the officiating in the fourth quarter. We're so upset about Maxey not getting a field goal attempt in the final 4.5 minutes. But like that, they need to take care of things and put this team away, especially in that first half when they had the opportunity and the Clippers couldn't. There were times when like the Clippers couldn't hit a single shot, and I didn't know if it was like the Sixers were looking this good or the Clippers looked that bad. It doesn't. Sean, what's your take on that? Because like I feel like we're a good matchup with the Clippers because the Clippers are just as slow as the Sixers.
Yeah, it's this Clippers team's bizarre to me that they're night and day different than like the last time I was seriously checking in on them, like mid-season, watching regularly. That they looked phenomenal. They were clicking on all cylinders. It felt like the balance between James Harden being the true point guard, Kawhi Leonard and Paul George being the true scorers was working perfectly. They look very different than that of late. Sunday they looked even more disjointed, I felt, than most of tonight. I don't really know what to make of this team. I think they're going to be a matchup-based playoff team. They have a fighting chance, but to me, it pretty much purely comes down to what level of Kawhi Leonard are you getting. That early on in the season, he looked like a borderline MVP guy. He looks like he's kind of cooling off and maybe some wear and tear on him, the season catching up, whatever it is. But the story on this team has always been like health, and frankly, it's not a good health bet that they will be good for postseason. So I'm still not fully sure what to make of them.
All right. That concludes.
And if I could chime in with the Clippers, I just think the thing is they don't have like a dominant big man for them, and I just think there's a lot of tread on this team. They're banking off these old names that are trying to carry them through. And again, you've seen it up and down. Like there's on paper, this Sixers team doesn't belong in the same class as them, but when you look at it, they kind of, like I said, they match very well with them. Again, with 2 games, kind of gave you the eye test. They hung around with this team, and it kind of like leads you asking big questions. How far are they going to go in the West? So, it's only a matter of time before they run into that Denver's team or something, or the Minnesota team, and they're going to get walloped. So, because they are short, not having a big man like that dominance that those other teams do have. So, yeah, that's just my opinion on them.
All right. Nick says, shout out to Westbrook for shooting 2 of 8 tonight. Much appreciated. All right, guys, let's wrap it up. Sean, final thoughts, plugs.
Yeah, that's a tough one. This is going to be one that sits a little sour with me. This is up there with the worst loss. I think probably the most frustrating loss of the season for the Sixers team. But we do have some good news around the corner. It does sound like the Joel Embiid return's coming, so I'll hang my hat on the high note tonight. As far as for me, you can follow me on Twitter at Sean_Bernard1. Check out Pick Swap Media, Sixers Digest, as well as Fox Sports The Gambler, where you can see me talking about the Sixers and different variations across each of those. And appreciate you guys for tuning in tonight.
And you're locked into March Madness right now, right? Like that's,
Oh yeah.
You guys are killing it over there on Fox Sports The Gambler. Go check it out. Tomorrow, we're back with Sweet 16, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right, Pat. Final thoughts, plugs.
Yeah, the Calvary's coming, and we can almost taste it right now. We can feel it again. I know everyone's all hope is lost right now. And just like I explained to my dopey partner on Sunday, I try and explain to him, just with a Joel Embiid on men's restrictions, it's going to be head and shoulders of what they give you now, because what he can do and the ability for him to take the 3-on-1 defenders and giving everybody else spacing and for everyone else to make their shots. So we're just waiting for playoffs, because whether it's playing tournament time or not, if you have Joel Embiid there available for you, it makes a world of a difference. And you'll probably get Roko's defense back. You got some toys back. So everyone just needs to stay patient. Again, we are going through the ups and downs through this desert storm. Be patient. The good times are coming, and just hold your horses. I'm still not giving up on this season. Let's go. And by the way, you can catch me. I have a busy day tomorrow. 10 a.m. I'll be right here at Edge of Philly Sports doing Union Soccer. So for all you guys need some Union Soccer coverage, I will have a big show for you tomorrow. And plus, tomorrow I know they just canceled the open day Phillies baseball, but that doesn't mean anything because you can catch me tomorrow night at the Wells Fargo Center because there will be some Wings lacrosse. Those guys are fighting for their playoff lives. So, guys, they are outside looking in. So, guys, you want to go down there, very cheap, $23 to get you in the door. Guys, go check them out. Wings lacrosse take on the Saskatchewan Rush tomorrow night, and you'll catch me there.
All right. You'll catch me tomorrow playing video games all day. I'm off for the
Easy
rest
with your
of
joystick. Easy.
Dragon's Dogma 2, phenomenal game. So go check that out. Been enjoying that if you love action RPGs. But guys, thank you everyone for watching. One last time, he is Pat, he is Sean, I am Dives. We'll catch you on the next post-game show. Thank you everyone for watching. Like wherever you're watching. We'll catch you. When do they play next? I don't even know. Friday. Who they got?
Cleveland. Up in Cleveland.
Cleveland.
Yeah. That's a W. That's definitely a W. We'll see you after that. Stay awesome, everyone.